Cam Holmes, though, this is a
Yeah.
very interesting one. So a little bit of background here. His brother, Deron Holmes, if you watched the Dayton game, you're well aware of who he is. Another kid out of Traden Stukes' neck of the woods, by the way. Saul Bookman correctly admonished me for not bringing him up the other day. But the Deron Holmes, I'll give you a little bit of an insight on the previous staff. One of their regrets was that they didn't get in on Deron Holmes early. They thought that they could kind of get on him late and they would be able to get him. As well, Deron Holmes turned out to be, he's going to be a first round pick. I've seen him on a lot of different mocks. This coaching staff is not doing that with his little brother, Cam Holmes. And if we could get to some of the highlights, Saul, you're a basketball expert. Tell me just kind of what you see when you watch this young man right here.
Yeah, this kid gives me Stacey Ogman vibes. Yeah. And if you don't know much about Stacey Ogman, a lefty, kind of an unorthodox kind of style of play to a certain degree, especially when you look at his jump shot, it comes off of his shoulder a little bit more than most. So that's something he's going to have to tweak. But he's long, he's athletic. He's a really good, solid player for Millennium. Led him all the way to the state championship. I believe they won the state championship, if I'm not correct.
Correct.
And so like he's a good all around player. And the thing that really stood out about him to me was the fact that he is just very passionate. He loves to play ball. He gets into these games. Just a terrific all around player. I would argue that he will end up being better than his brother because he has an all around game. He's a really good player.
He's a perimeter player where his brother was always going to be a four-man that was going to have to be able to show some that he could transition to the perimeter to a certain extent. And he pretty much successfully did that. But Saul, this dude's a guy that the ball is going to be in his hands. I'm also very biased towards left-handers. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a left-handed player get their shot blocked?
Ooh, I probably have at some point.
I know, I'm sure you have, but the point is when you think about it,
yeah, it's rare. It's rare.
It's very, very rare. So this kid, though, is really, really good. He's going to be there. He is he's been in the top 15 in his class for the last, 2 years or so. People have known about him. I believe
he's ranked third in his class, according to 247 right now. I would venture to guess that as he continues to grow and fill out his body, he's going to continue to grow up those rankings. And maybe he might not overcome the other two that we'll talk about here in the state, but nationally, I definitely think he's going to grow.
I very much like two kids that have been through the process with no real, like Deron Holmes, let's use an example. Went to Dayton, spent his 3 or 4 years there, got better, went off to the NBA. You can say the same thing kind of like with Jalen Williams. What I'm always worried about too is a little bit of the sideshow. If you've got somebody that is like a Bagley, for example, that thing was at ASU, that thing was a train wreck from get. I already have a blueprint now on how this family probably is going to handle this. Again, it's always different, but that always makes me feel a little bit better as well when I know that they've been through this. This isn't new to them. And when they were through it before, it didn't seem like a helicopter type parent situation. That's always something that kind of sticks in the back of my head a little bit, Saul.
Helicopter parent is a good way to put it. I don't want to besmirch any parent for doing what they think is in the best interest of the kid. If it's genuinely in the best interest of the kid, right. That's my pause is like, are you doing this for the kid or is this your moment to shine that you're trying to take advantage of? Right. And unfortunately, in today's day and age with NIL and all the other side money that's probably going around AAU, some of these people don't have the best of interests when it comes to the kid. They want him to succeed because it means more money for them. With these kids and with Deron Holmes' family, if you know much about him, if you talk to anybody about him, they definitely have a solid mentality, very stable. They just want the best for their kids. Right. And you can kind of see that with Deron, the way he speaks, the way he holds himself, carries himself. Same thing now with this young man.